Welcome to everything you need to know for today. We are chatting about pears. Pears are actually from Southeast Europe, and they were a favorite food of the ancient Greeks and the Romans both. And their sweet crunch today makes them a favorite for many of us as well. Did you know that pears actually don't ripen on the tree? They are picked at full maturity when they're still green with a little bit of a red blush, and then they are ripened on the counter at room temperature from the inside out. So you can't really tell when a pear is fully ripened unless you're touching it, which we'll talk about later, but you can't really tell just from looking at it. So that's interesting because that is a fruit, that's the only fruit that ripens that way. So when selecting pears, what you actually want to do is squeeze it at the neck around the base of the stem. And for a lot of pears that are going to ripen and be soft, for example, the abate, that's exactly what they say will then tell you if it's ripened, if when you're squeezing it around the neck and it gives a little bit, it has a little bit of play, then you know that it's ripened. So you can tell with this Bartlett pear. We know that Bartlett pears are ripened when they're nice and yellow with a nice red blush on it there, would just get a little bit brighter. And you can see that it's quite green. So when we squeeze this top at the neck, there's no give. It is rock solid. So that is how you tell how to know when a pear is ripened. So if the neck is still firm, then how are you going to finish ripening this? If you don't want to eat this, or if you bought a whole box of them, you can put them in the fridge, take out a couple and put them on the counter. So when they're on the counter or any room temperature space, give them 2 or 3 days and then they're going to fully ripen. The reason why we put them in the fridge after that is because the cool temperature slows down that ripening process. So then you don't have to eat all 8 pears in 1 day or 2. So after they have fully ripened, put them back in the fridge and then you can eat them over the next couple of days. And we know because we have a variety of pears, there's actually over 2,000 pears varieties in the world, that they must all taste a little bit different. And they do. So this is the most common pear, the Bartlett pear, to us here in Canada. So this Bartlett pear is very juicy when it's fully ripe. Now, right now it's quite dry when you bite into it, and it's not ripe, it'll be dry and not sweet at all. But when it ripens, it's going to be very juicy and very soft and very sweet. The Bosc pear is very crispy even when it's ripe. So this isn't a really good one to test to see if it ripens and it's going to be soft around the neck, just because it's going to end up being very crispy. So you'll want to leave it on your counter for 2 or 3 days, but then it will be ripe and it'll still be nice and crunchy. It has a delicate, which means just a not overly sweet flavor, but the number one thing about that one is just that it will be quite crunchy. So it's a good one for salads and putting into other dishes, but just because it's going to remain that nice hard. This one says it in French, the Anjou pear. This one actually looks a lot more like an apple because of the shape. It is going to be firm, not quite as firm as the Bosc, but it's going to be firm. I can feel this one as compared to the Bartlett. You can even see in the look. This one is more yellow. It is more ripe. It does have a little bit of give to it when you're squeezing it around the neck. Not a ton because it is a crispier pear. It is also very juicy, but it's mild, so it's not overly sweet. This one in the center is an Asian pear, and you'll often see it in the grocery stores with this on it. This is how it is transported. This is what they call full-on crunchy. So it looks like an apple. It's going to taste and have the same texture as an apple. It is mild flavor, so not as sweet as the Bartlett pear. And it actually has a soft, grainy texture, so it's not fully juicy. It's a lot more mild. So this actually goes Pairs really good with cheese and nuts in a salad just because it's not overly sweet. The last couple of pears we have, this is a Farrell pear. It's similar looking to the Bartlett. It just doesn't have that typical pear shape at the neck. The Farrell is actually one of the firmest pears, so it's even firmer than the Bosc. So the Farrell is extra sweet, however, so even though it's going to be the firmest, it is extra sweet and it has a bit of a cinnamon kick or a hint to it when you're eating it. And I've never tried that, so that's going to be quite interesting. So that would also go great in a salad with some nuts as well. The last pear that we have here, Marianne got two of them. These are called the Abate pears, and so they are French. They're from Europe. They are described as having a richer flavor than the Bartletts. They're best eaten when they're just barely soft, so still firm and crunchy. They are nice and crunchy when you eat them, but they have a bit of a melting flavor. Not sure what that is, but we'll let you know. Marianne's gonna come on in just a minute. We're gonna do a little taste testing for you because honestly, I've only eaten the Bartlett pears because I like them soft. I've had a bite of an Asian maybe, but I'm just not a fan of the crunchier. I leave my crunch to the apples, but we're gonna try them all today and we'll taste compare for you. So nutrition-wise, why do we eat pears? What's the difference between that and something else? Well, we know that all fruit, high in fiber, eat the skin. That's where we get the majority of our fiber. And pears are packed full of vitamins and then those beneficial compounds that help to fight inflammation. They promote gut health. They promote heart health. And all of those compounds that aren't vitamins and minerals also protect against certain kinds of cancers as well. They even can help us to lose weight, mostly because of the fiber that's in them that helps to keep us full. So definitely eat the peel. That's where the majority of the nutrition comes from, but the rest of the flavor comes from the inside. So if you're looking at a pear, remember serving size, of course. So a Bartlett pear, a Bosc pear is the typical serving. That would be a good 2 servings. So just remember those things when you're eating. But one pear has 5 grams of fiber, and pears are the highest amount of fiber fruit. So enjoy a pear and know that you're getting a good amount of fiber. What's our goal in the day? 25 grams to 30 grams of fiber. So that's a fifth of your fiber goal if you're aiming for 25. So that's amazing. There is, of course, no fat. It's fruit. And they have 17 grams of natural sugar. There's no added sugar to them. It's natural because they're sweet. Now, the ones that aren't as sweet are definitely going to have more complex carbohydrate versus the simple sugar, which is that natural sugar. And pears, the sweet pears are a little bit higher in sugar than the other fruits. But 17 grams is just like eating a piece of bread. So it's not a crazy amount of sugar at all, and it's all natural, and our body utilizes that natural complex sugar for quick energy. It doesn't just store it. And then there's a 1/2 gram of protein. So there's a little bit of protein in there too, so that's pretty cool. The vitamins, for the majority, the biggest amount of vitamins in there are vitamin C, and that's where you get that anti-inflammatory or that bacteria virus fighting compound. There's potassium in there, which is needed for the heart. And there's vitamin K in there, which is needed to keep our gut healthy. So that's where we get a lot of our knowledge about nutrition. It also has a small amount of calcium and iron, magnesium, B vitamins, including folate, which is really important because that's a good one for women in childbearing ages. So the other compounds that are in the pears that help to do all of that, cancer fighting is carotenoids, flavonoids, and anthocyanins. Those are the things that we can't get in a vitamin. They only come in real food. So there we have it. We're gonna run right into our taste testing moment. So come on around, Marianne. let's give these all a bit of a taste test. We're just gonna, Marianne has washed all these. There we go. So we're just gonna cut a little piece off, including some of the skin, because I'm probably even, it's gonna be hard to taste all of these at once. Yeah, feel free. So that, yeah. And I'm just gonna do a tiny little piece, I think. Put all these over here. So that's this one, that's this one. So the Asian, the Basque, we've got the, I'm excited to taste this Pharrell, knowing.
Bigger freckles on that, I know. That's typical.
It's true, yes. So this Pharrell is supposed to have the cinnamon type. Now it's not going to be a true taste test with ripeness, just because I don't think that Bartlett is nice and ripe, but we do know how that one tastes. And, this one's nice and ripe. So that will be lovely. Some people don't like the soft ripeness though to pears. Some people like it nice and firm and crunchy. All right, do you want to start over here with the Asian? Put all these extra pieces there. All righty. Yep, sounds good. We'll describe. Oh, very juicy, sweeter than I thought. The skin is thick.
Yes.
It's a little bit tougher. Lots of fiber.
Like the boss.
Let's do that one. We're going to have to remember these and rate their sweetnesses. Oh.
More flavor.
Definitely more flavor. Juicier.
Sweet.
Not as, yeah, definitely sweet. Not as thick of skin.
Yeah, even though it's more brown.
Yeah. Cool. All right. This is the, what was the name again? Abate, right. Yeah. And very much, I found like the boss.
Texture-wise.
Yeah.
Firmness.
A little bit grainy, like a Bartlett is a little bit, but juicy. A little bit thicker skin, I would say, than the Bosque.
And this rusting is typical on those.
Okay.
Whereas these other ones are smooth.
Right. True. All right, we'll Bartlett it up. Yeah. You can definitely tell it's unripe. It like pulls the moisture out of your mouth and puts it into the pear. The ascorbic acid. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So we know typically that those are nice and juicy and very, very sweet. Today they are not. Well,
when you watch this video, they'll be in season.
Right.
So they will have much better flavor then.
Yeah, here's hoping.
This one came from Argentina. So.
Get things local, right? Local makes a difference. All right, so what one is this? The Anjou? That's how I like pears. The skin is, how do you say that? Sturdy, like it's not overly thick, but it's it's got high fiber, right? But the soft.
It's like a ripe melon texture-wise. Like
true.
This one's the melting one, I would say.
Yeah.
Maybe this one just isn't as ripe as it ought to be.
Maybe, yeah. But yes, nice and sweet, nice and soft, juicy. Yeah. Right. That was a nice.
After the unripened one.
Exactly. All right.
Our
Pharrell. We're looking for the cinnamon hint. I don't feel it either. Nothing.
Firm.
Yep.
A little juicy, not
as
juicy as the other ones.
Yeah.
But very, very mild flavor. So
right.
Maybe it is still kind of greenish.
True.
Maybe it's just not as ripe as it ought to be.
That's true. Yeah.
Similar to an apple, I would say.
Very similar. Yeah.
The texture.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like you could just crunch that and it won't have juice dripping down. Anything surprise you?
I was surprised at what a range of juiciness there was, and when we got the ones that were ripe, it was just like a burst of flavor on your tongue.
Right.
Like that
was
amazing.
Yeah, I like that.
So obviously ripeness is the key. just as it is
Definitely.
with other things, but fruit
Yes.
especially.
Mm.
Yeah,
These two surprised me. They were sweeter and juicier, and you can even see the juice
totally.
kind of, yeah, puddling up there on the top, which is awesome. I thought they were drier, so I must have eaten it when it wasn't as ripe.
I
So,
don't know how you tell. They always look that color in the store.
right. So maybe we would suggest whatever pear you buy, leave it on your counter unless you can do this to the firmness and it's a little squishy. So there you have it, everything you ever wanted to know and know about the flavor and the taste of pears.